Okay, so now we've talked about the Microsoft Word stuff, how to link to cases and how to link to legislation, how I do it. At least I'll want to say that. Let's talk about PDFs. Okay, so I'm going to share with you now a motion record, and I'm going to talk about how we can navigate it very easily. And we got to think about who is reading these motion records. It's going to be you. You know, these motion records in litigation can be hundreds of pages, so it's good for you to be able to navigate it. Mm-hmm. Your opposing counsel needs to be able to navigate it, and the judge needs to be able to navigate it as well. So we're going to do two things when it comes to hyperlinking that are important. So let's start with the first thing. So here I'm sharing my screen. This is a motion record, and this is the index page. Okay. So as you can see, I'm not going to show you the whole index, but you can see at least on just the first page, there's 16 different tabs or different documents that are accumulated into this motion record. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that each of these tabs are bookmarked. So here I'm going to open up my bookmarks menu, and I'm just going to say that I'm using a PDF program called Kofax Power PDF. There's a lot of different PDF programs that'll do this, maybe in a different way. Maybe the interface will be a little bit different or whatever. But the professional good PDF programs will have these features. So here you can see there's 25 different tabs that are made in this PDF. And if I click on one, it'll just take me to the different portions of the document that I've set it for. But what you also want to do is you want to link the index as well. Okay. So let's see how we can do that. So on Kofax, what we'll do is we'll select the area that we want. And then here is a little link, a link option. So we'll click it. Now it's going to give you some options about what you want that link to look like. Do you want to have a visible rectangle around it? I say no, I think that's ugly. So we want to do an invisible rectangle. Now, what do you want the link to do when you click the link? Do you want it to open a file? Do you want it to go to a page view or open a web link, right? So if you were going to do this maybe as a case in your PDF, you wanted to link to Canly or something in your PDF, you have the option to do that. But if you just want to go to a page view, you can just select go to a page view. Next, it's going to say go to the page you want and select the link there. So we already know and that we want it on page 1. So we can go down, scroll, scroll, scroll. This is, let's say, okay, page 1 here, set the link. So now there's a link there. So every time I go over it, there's a link, click it, and I go to the tab 1. Right? So you want to do that with all of your different tabs and it'll fly you through it.
So to summarize what you've said, the tab 1, tab 2, like at those actual pages, you're bookmarking them. And then you're going back to your index and you're linking the pages to the tab listed in the index.
Yes. So we're going to have 2 ways to navigate this document, right? And I'm going to tell you why both of those ways are important when we get to case lines section of this video.
Okay.
But we have 2 ways to navigate it. I can go to tab 1 by clicking the tab 1 bookmark.
Mm-hmm.
Or now I can go to tab 1 by clicking the link I've made here, right? So we have both those ways to do it, and both of those would be considered hyperlinks as for the purposes of the court's direction. So now I'm going to go over, it's going to be difficult for me to sort of show you how to tab these things or how to bookmark these things because they're already bookmarked, but it's pretty simple. So let's pretend these bookmarks don't exist.
Yeah.
And I want to bookmark this index page.
Mm-hmm.
On Kofax, what I'll do is I'll click new bookmark. And because I'm on that page, it's already bookmarked that page. I just type in the name. I can call it index number 2 or whatever. And that's it, right? So if I ever find myself on tab 11 and I want to go back to the index, I can just click there and it'll take me right back to where I started that bookmark. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go to the beginning of each tab in your motion record, and you want to click, add a bookmark at the beginning of all those at those points. So, and think about why this is important, because if you're standing there talking to a judge, or sitting there, I guess, in your house by a Zoom talking to a judge, and you say, you know, Your Honor, I want to take you to tab 20. You can either have scroll, drive everyone crazy. It's hundreds of pages. This is a 421 page document.
Right.
Or you can just click tab 20 and there you are, right? And that is what the judges are they want this. They don't want to scroll. They don't want to look around. They want to have a tab. And if they want to go back to the index, they don't want to scroll. They want to just go back to the index, right?
Okay, so just a quick summary. You're saying the two methods are that you need to have the bookmark bookmarks set up to each tab. And you also want to do a hyperlink on your index page, so that if they say want tab 15, they just click on tab 15 and it'll bring you right to tab 15. That saves
That's
everybody
right.
lots of time.
That's right. Now, I would say that the bookmarks that we saw on the side are more important than linking the index.
Oh,
So I'll
cool.
just share this again.
Yep.
This is more important than this, in my opinion. That might not be right, but I think most people are very familiar with looking for bookmarks in PDFs, and they sort of will just naturally go there. So I think it's better to have that if you're going to have anything. When you're sharing your PDFs with opposing counsel, with the other side, with your own sort of group, or before you get to the hearing, these are going to be very important. Okay. Now, another way that we can also make these tabs show up is if you're going to make your motion record by combining the PDFs. Adobe and Kofax and some other programs will let you just combine all files into a PDF. These bookmarks will show up automatically on a lot of those programs. So they'll be there for you. You just have to go in there, make sure they're labeled right, and make sure that they're correct where they land, right? And they're not dead or anything. Now, one thing that I also noticed is that you can sometimes have sub tabs, right? So let's say you have like tab 1 here. You might have tab 1A underneath. That'll take you to a point in tab 1. Those are great, except they will not work in case lines for something that we're going to talk about later. So just keep that in mind. Try your best to just keep non-sub tabs, just regular tabs, because they don't always play nicely with other programs.
Right.
Okay.